Hey everyone, Caddy to the Llama coming back at you with another anime review. Last night I watched the new Godzilla on Netflix, Godzilla Singular Point, and I wasn't expecting a lot. I watched um, the three Godzilla movies that had come out over the last couple years, and I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and I mean, I think I speak for most Godzilla fans when I say that those were rather disappointing movies. I mean, decent tellings of a twist on the Godzilla story, but nothing. I mean, they basically took everything in a whole new direction, and it kind of you can say the kind of the same thing for this new Godzilla. I when I try to go into it with fresh expectations. I didn't want to kind of go into it with a bad attitude or anything like that, especially when you get into it and you can see that, like I spoke about on the Road to Ragnarok review, um, they've obviously made an attempt to move at least somewhat away from all CG. The Godzilla one, the previous Godzilla movies were 100% all CG, which is one of the ones that I felt was disappointing. Like I don't want to watch all CG anime, and and they're trying to come to like a balance, obviously, with their new animes that they're producing, and we see that in the new Godzilla Singular Point series. A lot of the characters are hand drawn, and a lot of the stuff is hand drawn. But when you get into mass amounts of huge shots where we have lots of monsters or lots of things happening, um, um, that's where they're using the CG, and it is getting better. The CG is getting better. They're getting better at animating through the computers and everything like that. But you can still tell, like you can still always tell when we transition from a CG shot to traditional anime, and but I am excited to see where they can go with it. Maybe if we continue to use it, and we might see we might see a time where it's really not that distinguishable from regular hand drawn anime. Now let's get into the story. Um, it is all new. It is an all new telling of Godzilla. It is none of the traditional Godzilla storyline. Um, After I finished it, it's only 13 episodes. The first season is only 13 episodes. Um, I honestly felt like they could have told this exact same story and not used Godzilla or any of the other characters, any of the other monsters. I felt like they almost used they almost used Godzilla and the other monsters as a selling point to get this anime out there. But because honestly, the show is about it's a human show. Like what you hear most Godzilla fans complain about. I want less humans, more monsters, and this is all humans and very very little monsters. And uh, I felt that it's basically about two main characters, Yoon and May, and it's sprinkled in a cast of about 10 characters overall. Um, that storyline is actually not too bad. You really, if it wouldn't have been a Godzilla show, I felt like I would have felt better about it because by the time I got to the end, I was actually rather disappointed that I was like, oh, so it's really not. Uh, I mean, Godzilla's probably on the screen for a total of, I mean, maybe a total of 5 to 10 minutes through the whole 13 episodes. Maybe 10 minutes. I would lean more closer to five. That he's maybe on the screen for a total of 5 minutes. You barely get to see Godzilla. He doesn't. He's not really doesn't really do much. Um, but you can tell that like they are. I don't want to say it like it's like a tip of the hat to a lot of different eras of Godzilla, but they're definitely using a lot of characters through, all of the history of Godzilla to make this one new storyline. If you're a Godzilla purist, you're not probably not going to like this. You're not going to like this anime. Like it's nothing like regular Godzilla. Um, it's almost like they took a little bit of the movie Pacific Rim, where the kaiju's like continue to evolve. Like it's a very weird telling of Godzilla. There's dimensional stuff, there's time stuff, there's some weird red red mist, red dust thing that they bring in that allows the kaiju's to evolve super quickly, and so they have basically Shin Godzilla. If you've ever seen there was a Godzilla movie in the '90s that had a new type of Godzilla called Shin Godzilla, and this version of him had multiple forms where he evolved over time and very quickly, and like as he got more radiation, he evolved into different forms, and you can see the representation of those forms in this Godzilla. Like they definitely changed the look of him a little bit, but that's definitely what they were going for. I mean, there's a lizard-looking one where he's on all fours. There's a fish version. There's a very kind of T-Rex looking one where he's got like crumpled up front arms. That's the same as the Shin Godzilla. There was a version of that, and the classic Godzilla spends a total a minute of screen time in the whole show. The classic, what people are used to seeing as Godzilla. We have, and then if you know any of the other characters, any of the other kaijus throughout the history of the show. They have Rodan, but is definitely not classic Rodan. It is a new telling of Rodan. They have Angaru, Angaru, however you want to pronounce it. They have Jet Jaguar, the robot from the classic Godzilla movie. And it's interesting. The storyline itself, I don't want to give too much away in the storyline. The storyline itself kind of had me hooked on how all of this was happening. It's a very interesting telling of how all this Godzilla stuff happened. It's no nuclear waste. It's no fallout from nukes or anything like that. It's none of the classic story. It's all brand new. And at one point I thought it was going to be kind of a Pacific Rim thing where they were coming from another dimension and a whole bunch of different stuff. They kind of really leave it open until basically the last couple episodes. They really start wrapping it up, and you start kind of figuring out, oh, okay, this is what's going on, and I just continue to come back to, if it hadn't have been a Godzilla movie, if it was just new monsters that the team that made the show came up with, if it would have been new kaijus, I actually would have liked, I probably would have liked the show a little bit more, but they took it, in a whole new direction. It wasn't bad. I would say it's, I struggle to put it above, I struggle to put it above the other Godzilla movies, the 3 that came out in the last 2 or 3 years, because, those previous movies, they screwed up, they completely changed King Ghidorah, they completely changed Mechagodzilla, but in this one they completely changed Rodan. They completely, they they brought Shin Godzilla in, which I personally think is one of the worst Godzillas. Like, I'm not a huge Shin Godzilla fan, you know, like that version of Godzilla goes right into the 1998 American Godzilla. That he's down there in my personal ranking. You may feel your own way, but for me, not a huge Shin Godzilla fan. Um, Not a huge Jet Jaguar fan. You know, like I'm not a huge that's not my favorite Godzilla movie, but you know, but um, that turned out to be not too bad. You know, but how it all came together, it's not bad. If you're just a straight anime fan, I would say yeah, it's not too bad. Like because it doesn't overwhelm you with Godzilla stuff. You don't need to like know all the history and know all the monsters to enjoy the show. If you're a traditional Godzilla fan and you're a purist, like I said before, probably not going to like the show. You know, it might be a shrug for you. You know, so take that for what it's worth. But we'll see what they do with season two. You know, they do have some teasers. You know, towards the end, they do leave some open holes throughout the show, throughout the 13 episodes. They do leave some open holes that are like, oh, this might, you know, some little things where they're like, this might be something in season two. You know, we'll see. We'll see if they get a season two. You know, I could see, you know, depending on the if there's any backlash or anything, because it is different, it is a complete new retelling. I could see a little bit of backlash, but you know, but we'll see how it goes. You know, like I would watch a season two just to because like I said I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I ingest all I wouldn't even say Godzilla fan. I'm a huge kaiju fan, so I ingest all kaiju related you know movies and TV shows and animes and stuff. So I would watch a season two, but not wouldn't be one of the things that I just would be super hyped about. I'd be like, oh okay, well I saw the first season. I guess I'll see the second one. Maybe they'll fix it, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this has been Caddy Tulama doing another anime review. Go ahead and hit the comments section. Tell me what you thought of the new Godzilla series, and you know if you liked it or not. You know, I want to hear from some other Godzilla fans and see if how they felt about it. You know, maybe I'm the outlier. Maybe other Godzilla fans are going to love it. I don't know. You know, but we'll see. I want to hear from people. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.